Matt, every week we wonder, can it be more bewildering? But let's start with Alabama.
Okay,
Alabama. I mean,
this,
I, I
this
mean,
show might be an hour today based
I mean,
on what you
Alabama. I mean, where can you go? I mean, Alabama is an absolute train wreck. There's no sugarcoating it, and I'm sure Kalen DeBoer and his cast of minions can try to act like they control. I actually heard somebody say Alabama controls its own destiny. For what? The end of the world? I mean, why would you now believe Alabama, after what we've seen the last 3 weeks, is now going to get off the canvas, beat Missouri, which is not great, but still formidable, because anybody is formidable for Alabama right now, and then go down to Baton Rouge and beat LSU after what we saw from LSU last night. And that's really the number one bullet point, I think, Matt. Uh, yeah, we may wake up here in a couple of months and look back and go, "Wow, maybe we were wrong." But that's part of the conversation that exists here. But it's not even it's not the play on the field. It's a lack of discipline. I mean, every time they had a chance to put that game a little bit further away from Tennessee or to come back in the game, they made a stupid penalty. They made a stupid decision. And ultimately, who does that rest with? Is that the players or is that the coaching? To me, this does not look like a well-coached team.
so I brought this up on Sunday Bloody Sunday that there are things about Alabama that are starting to rear their head now, and it's unfortunate in that for 17 years, and I hate look, what do we always say? You don't want to be the guy that replaces the legend. We're seeing it, Paul, right in front of our eyes. Because what happens every time Alabama has a misstep like that personal foul late in the game? Was he taunted by the Tennessee player? Yes. Should the Tennessee player have been flagged? Yes, but he didn't. Now you're 4th and 22. What we're seeing, Paul, is we're seeing an Alabama program who is so locked up for 17 years under Nick Saban. It's almost as if now that Saban's gone, everyone in the building relaxed. And we're seeing it on Saturdays with stuff we haven't seen in a decade plus. And if you hit on it, think about where we were, was it 4 Sundays ago
Yeah.
today after Georgia? And we're talking about closure in the Nick Saban era. They got it right. Alabama could be better. They've gone Vanderbilt loss, South Carolina near miss, and Tennessee loss. They're this season, SEC playoff, they're out. They're done.
They're 0 for the state of Tennessee, in case anybody in the volunteer state was keeping track. Matt, listen, yeah, it was 3 weeks ago today. I sat here and talked about how Alabama looked better coached last night, meaning the Georgia game, than the last couple of years of Nick Saban. And I meant by that, it looked like they were together across the board. Saban did not have a great staff his last year. Um, it was a mirage. And we certainly you can I don't even care about the Georgia game anymore because they threw it away. Whatever they did in that first half, they let it go in the second half, and they haven't gotten it back. And there's no reason to believe they're going to get it back, because I think the real issue now is Kalen DeBoer is going to experience things that no coach at Alabama has experienced in 2 decades, and that's all the noise. And the noise in Alabama is loud. I was in Alabama last week, Matt, for 2 days. And I mean, I was going through TSA at the airport, and somebody working at the airport grabbed me and said, "Hey, what's with this guy?" And I was like, "What guy?" He said, "The guy coaching at Alabama." I mean, that was before the Tennessee game. They didn't even want to mention his name. I mean, there was a bailout of DeBoer, and I'm not trying to say because I ran into a guy at a coffee shop or a guy at the airport that's the newest CNN, Fox, MSNBC tracking poll. But
Sure.
I talk to enough people, and I hear from enough people from that fan base, and they are besides themselves. And I mean, is it going to get better for Kalen DeBoer? I mean, he inherited a pretty good team. And has made a mess out of it. So why are we now going to believe that this guy who's never been in anything like this before is suddenly going to figure it out?
The thing that stuns me, and it stunned Galloway when we were watching yesterday, is Jalen Milroe couldn't have looked any better in the first half against Georgia. Paul, and I hate going right at players. They're college students, but they're getting paid like pros. So at this point, you have to start evaluating them as such. Jalen Milroe has fallen to a point of it's just not. I mean, Paul, there was zero confidence that offense was going to get going last night. I wouldn't have said that a month ago.
No, and that listen, when your games have two halves, we see that every week, but that's what the coaching staff is supposed to do.